That was energetic. All right.
At least you got to see it on my end. It was like lag, 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 lag. I'm like, oh Christ, tell me I'm not. Tell me at least I can be able to do the interview with this guy. So always typical, always my end. That's the story of my life here. And yep, I'm already frozen on this screen. And yep, a little bit of laggy, laggy, and here we go. And good evening, one and all, once again to another exciting, fun-filled episode of Meet Your Reviewer. I am your host, Martin Sebastian, aka UltraMegatronus. You know where I am. You know how we got here. Because if you're in the chat, that was easy finds. Better than a GPS on a broken day. So what is going on? I'm going to say what's up to a few people before we do the main introduction here. So we got Raz in the house. What's going on, Raz, man? Good to see you. Got Paul in the house as well. What is good, brother, man? Thanks for coming back again. And same thing with Brick Builder Prime, man. Again, good evening. Glad to see you all here tonight. And to introduce my guest here, the man of the hour, the man you know who's been doing this longer than I have. Let's say hello to the one and only, and he's greeting as well. Zoom in on you, Senor Input.
Hey everyone, it's me. It's that N-PUT. And just like Ultra Megatronus said, I'm the man of the hour. So don't you dare be sour because I'm here to entertain you with my oh so sexy voice. Ooh. That's all I say. I'm sorry.
That's all good. It's all good. I'm trying to get back into the regular screen here so that way, like I said, mine is just like being silly. There we go. Bits of lags and all stuff. Daniel, welcome to the stream. Caldeo, what has been? What is good, man? How are you again? So how this works, folks, is it's the usual scheme. I asked the gentleman about 9 to 10 questions. You also can, interject into answering, asking questions as well. Whatever you feel is right. We don't do politics, so get that out of here. If you want politics, go to CNN, MSNBC, Fox, whatever. That is a whole different world. We are here to talk collectibles.
Don't go to Fox.
Nah, go to wherever you want to go to. Free country, free world, whatever. Politics, bye-bye here. We are here about collectibles. We're here about having fun.
Did you see that, folks? His eyes got real wide. Scared him a little bit. But then he realized.
That's okay because I will be the ultimate ruler. Then again, anything. Let's go into the realistics, folks. Here we go. Oracle, what is good? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Are we ready to ask some questions to this awesome gentleman here?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Let's do it. All right. So the first question, the simplest question of all is, what started your journey to collecting toys?
Oh, man. Really? I'm 40 now, so my memory is not quite as good as it once was.
You said old? 40? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Center stage to you, my friend.
I don't know, man. Like I think I've always, and I think a lot of us are kind of like in that same boat, right? Like we were collecting real young, but we didn't know what collecting was. We were just playing with toys, yep. And I think as I got older, I ended up keeping things and kind of realized like I'm not really playing with them. I'm kind of like, collecting them. And I think I would say, I would probably say I got that realization in high school, maybe around that time.
Right.
So, yeah, really, ever since maybe like 02, 03, because, man, I don't know, like it when those somebody was doing the Dragon Ball Z figures, but they were really articulated. I think was it Jack Pacific or something like that, or no, Irwin was doing them, and and I got really heavy into like their Dragon Ball Z line, and I was like hunting things down at comic book stores. Those early Spider-Man Legends figures, predated Marvel Legends and stuff. I was like going around the comic book stores and Toys R Us and Walmarts and everything else. So I would probably say about 02 maybe is when I had that awakening, that realization of what I was doing, more so than just buying and whatever.
That's cool. I mean, like, definitely one thing for sure is that it's like a lot of people, I have noticed it around the late 90s into like the early 2000s, everybody started collecting. anything possible. You had, like you mentioned, Dragon Ball Z, Transformers was coming out. There was a couple of others that the sports figures. I think I want to say starting lineup was a big thing too
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the day. So it's like that was when it was like all happening, and like the places to be were either Toys R Us, KB Toys, Walmart was. They had their toy section, but you looked at them like, okay, yeah, yeah, go ahead, play nice. You go in the corner, let the real toy stores like do their job. And unfortunately, now they are the real toy store along with Target, and I miss it. Believe me, my wife used to work at. She was assistant manager at KB Toy, and oh my god, the discount. She had 20% off on stuff. If
Oh, dude, 20% off, and they would
no, I'm
liquidate
sorry, thirty
stuff.
percent off, 30% off, 10% off on games, 30% off on toys. So I'm like,
Well, 30% off on toys, but then like a toy come out at like $3.99, and then they throw it in the dollar bin, so you'd be getting those old Toy Biz figures for what, 70 cents?
yeah, if you're
That's
lucky.
that's awesome, dude.
It's great, except she never got those bins, and she's like, yeah, we don't have a 70-cent bin, we don't have a dollar bin, and like I got upset one day because they had an Optimus Prime figure like this. It came in like a round, like cylinder box, and I wanted it. It was like $70, no trailers, just to, it transformed. I was like, I want it. She's like, no, no, no. We got important stuff to buy. We got important bills we got to pay off. Leave it. It's not going anywhere. Okay, fine. 7 months later, it's like, okay, it's still there. I'm gonna pull the trigger. She's like, no, no, no. We got some blah blah blah. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, fine, pick it up. And she goes and she's like, honey, I'm sorry, they sold it. That's when I said, the next time I'm going to pull the trigger on everything I possibly like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she's a collector too, so she loves Funko Pops, and I love everything else.
Well, you like the good stuff.
Yeah, we have the fun toys. We do.
Yeah.
She likes Funkos. Actually, no, she did collect anime figures too, so she was into like she's into Vampire Hunter D and all stuff. But you know what? That's enough about my wife. I love her, but this isn't about her. This is about you. This is the main
Vampire
conversation
Hunter
piece.
D. What a classic, dude. I love dude. Yeah.
Oh well, here's the next question going to you, and it is: what is your top 3 favorite cartoons growing up as a kid?
Oh, dude, don't do that to me. I grew up on television. I grew up on TV. Like, I could tell you legitimately what time it was by what was on the TV, and
Oh, I got it.
be like 99% accurate, Um favorite cartoons growing up? I mean,
If it's easier with a top 5, I'll give you top 5.
well, I'm just thinking, like, what are we including
Any
growing
genre,
up? Like,
any genre you want. I'm not gonna hold you to like one specific genre. I'm talking anything out there that you like grew up watching and said this was my favorite top 3.
like,
or top
okay,
5.
so I would go Batman the animated series,
Sweet.
Spider-Man the animated series,
Yep.
Extreme Ghostbusters,
Nice.
Beast Wars,
Yep.
the X-Men 90s cartoon, Bobby's World,
Oh wow, that's a name I haven't heard in forever.
Life with Louie.
Oh my god, another one.
God, I'm going into like a top 10, right? Like, what am I at? It's like 7.
That's all good, man. That's all good.
Right? Like,
That's all good.
gosh, dude. Mummy's Alive. Fuck yeah, Mummy's Alive.
Wow.
That was fantastic, dude.
I haven't seen that in years.
Mighty Max. Mighty
Max.
Mighty Max was, oh, dude, that was my jam. Biker Mice from Mars.
Yep.
I'm
waiting for one particular one because it was in the same time era as Beast Wars, and I'm surprised. I should have asked this to everybody out there, but it's one that came out around the same time, and it was a very popular series. I'm gonna let you think on that one because unless you didn't like it, then it's the only thing.
Well, wait, what was it?
Reboot.
Oh fuck yeah, Reboot was the jam, dude. Like, what is it? Was it when the game would come in and be like, warning, incoming game, warning, and then they like all freak out. Oh, dude, that was so good. And then
that was because that was at the time the equivalent of what would have been Tron.
My favorite.
Oh man.
My favorite season of that was like season 3 or 4 when Enzo was all grown up and he was like surfing the internet and everything.
Yeah.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I know it's not a cartoon, but that show, dude, that show had me as a kid, man.
Oh my god! And do you remember Silverhawks?
Yes,
Yeah.
Silverhawks was great.
Yep.
Jim and
Oh,
the Holograms, dude.
I knew
Jim,
so. They.
Eureka's Castle. Eureka's Castle.
Yep.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
god.
there's so much, man. The Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
Anything that came on Snick, Roundhouse. For those of you like old enough to remember that one season of that show, uh, Pete and Pete, dude.
Pete. Yep.
Yeah, I could keep going with cartoons and TV that I grew up on because like that's all I did as a kid was play video games and watch movies and cartoons and yeah,
Growing up
that
as an
was.
adult, it's like you're like, shoot, the cartoons that came out today. It's like there's a lot of them that like made like a big staple in our. Like it still impacts us to this day. Like I don't know. For me, Beavis and Butthead was one of them.
Oh,
It's like
Beavis and Butthead, yeah, yeah. Was it Balgus says chasing the wheeled warriors? Yes.
yes, wow, we're
Uh,
going into like stuff that is like this segment of Ultra Megatronus is brought to you by AARP because if you're going to make us feel any older, this is how you do it. AARP for those seniors in your life.
I appreciate it, Princeton. He says he said TF Talk Raw said I have a great radio podcast voice, and he totally agrees with that. I
Oh
appreciate it.
yeah,
Codename Kids Next Door from
yes,
PBJ. Yes. That's a whole different era. Dexter's Laboratory, Ed, and
yep.
Eddie,
Yes,
Cow and Chicken,
yep,
Powerpuff Girls. Yes,
yep.
dude. That's a whole
Oh
different.
god. And what started that insane, and a lot of people don't realize if you watch SpongeBob and you pay attention to the graphics, the original first season, it's the same artist that did Ren and Stimpy.
So I went down a rabbit hole the other day because I was watching Extreme Ghostbusters. They just put it out on DVD, and my
Yeah.
excitement was like I was over the moon. I was like, "Yes, finally!" And
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, I was watching it, and I was like, "This looks just like the Jumanji cartoon. This looks just like that 90s or that Nickelodeon cartoon that was like they were in the jungle, the wild thornberries."
Yes.
Like and I was like, what like all real monsters and all that stuff, and I went down this rabbit hole, and it was like almost everybody who worked on Extreme Ghostbusters. Susan Blue was the voice director of Extreme Ghostbusters, but so many of those guys came back from the real Ghostbusters and the animation studio. Was it
Oh.
the guys who did Rugrats? The guys who did Rugrats.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta
They were
ask you
the
about that one.
well, that guy, the guy who owned, was it Coxley or Cogley, whatever studios. He hired everybody, Class B Cuspo,
Yeah.
Supo. They hired almost everybody that's worked on any and every cartoon from roughly Rugrats all the way up to now. They've had their fingers in all of it. The 90s or that MTV Spider-Man cartoon, the
Yep.
Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. They're doing stuff right now. Some of these people are working on Netflix cartoons and stuff. It's so crazy. And they got and then that guy got started. Class B got started over at Hanna-Barbera,
Yep.
which dude, it's crazy, man. Like I just did this deep dive rabbit hole because I just watched Extreme Ghostbusters. Like that's
If you think that's insane, I just happened to watch somebody do an insert about Rugrats because you brought it up, and the story on how that was created, and it is the most eerie freaking thing I've ever heard. So the cartoon on Nickelodeon and all that stuff, everybody had a great time. Oh, this is adorable, all that stuff. Was based off of a woman who had given birth to a kid. I'm kind of hazy still on the story, but the long story short, her son died. Her next door neighbor had a set of twins, and they died. But all of the kids that were that died, she used and wrote a journal about what was going on in the neighborhood, and based off of that, she like wrote into her journal and talked about like in an imaginary world of hers because it was a tragedy that she lost her kid and then everybody like lost theirs. Long story short, somebody ends up finding this like documentary diary book of hers and ends up writing it as Rugrats the cartoon. It's on YouTube somewhere,
Oh
the
wow,
history behind it. But it's like when you hear the origin and how it really was created, it was like holy shit. I thought
that
that
sounds crazy.
it's absolutely insane. Like I said, I'm massacring it the way I'm describing it. You got to see it as the documentary part on YouTube. It'll blow your mind away. It's just like holy shit! I did not know that's the whole story behind Rugrats, and it just happened to be somebody at a garage sale picked up the journal and was like, "Oh, what a great story! I'll make this into a cartoon." There you go. And it's like, yeah, it was a tragic thing. So
Wow.
Caldeo, I'm going to throw in a question from him. He's like, input, how goes the train table sense that I brought up with you I guess last time?
Oh, from when I was doing those live streams, the customizing live streams and stuff. Yeah, it's going pretty good. I got a little that Honda CRV table uh that I was kind of filming with or filming on or whatever. That's kind of set up. Um and I started putting like little trees and stuff. Got a little train track and everything going. So yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. Hey, MC DJ, what's up, man?
What is going on, MC? Belucius Jace and the Wheeled Warriors TF crossover time. Holy shit.
Yes, let that happen, dude. Let that happen.
See what else is going on because I was like back. I had to highlight that one. And what is this?
Yeah,
You're more of a
Kelpio.
Colonel
Yeah.
Penn insurance in you? Me? Well, I was in the military at one time, so maybe I can get with that. I just need Shaq in the corner. Klasky, yep.
Class B
Season
Soup
Blue
yeah.
RC. That was
So
Steven.
I was
Oh, okay.
told. So I was told. Speaking of Susan Blue, I was told that she is in Friday the 13th Part 7, and
Interesting.
I think she's the the psychic chick's therapist or something.
I gotta be watching now.
Yeah, that's. I gotta watch the credits or watch it, but I haven't popped it in since I was told that. But I told my buddy about that rabbit hole that I just told you guys about, and he was like, "Well, funny thing about Susan Blue, she's in Friday the 13th Part 7." I was like, "What? No way." Okay.
Oh, a lot of voice actors did cameos in movies. It's crazy. I mean, Raz could tell you, like somebody
Yeah.
like Keith David, like David Keith and all that stuff. He's
Yeah.
one that's like, wow, gargoyles, they live. Uh, so many other people out there. Weird and Dark Thought Rugrats also had some deep moments like Tommy needing medical attention after birth. Yep, that was one
Yeah.
of the things, and ended up and Tommy was an actual. All of the Rugrats are actual names of actual kids. Like I
Yeah.
said, you got to look it up. It's insane. All right, so let me ask the next question here. So, what motivated you to start doing your YouTube channel? Oh no! At this stage, sorry.
Um, man, so my channel kind of started off. It started off as a video game news rant channel way back in like 2013, 2014 or something.
Oh wow,
And
10 years. Wow, about 11,
yeah.
maybe 10 years. Yeah.
So and I was just kind of like and then got bored with that and didn't do anything with it until I think what 2018, 20, yeah, I want to say 2018 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it just kind of uh my buddy one day was like, "Dude, you love Transformers. Why don't you cuz he was like, "You're the most knowledgeable person about Transformers that I know, and why don't you should do a YouTube channel and just kind of like talk about the lore and go over things and stuff like that." Um and I didn't I like the idea of doing the YouTube channel like Transformers wise, but the lore thing for me, I was like, well, there's people out there doing that. So um I but I so I didn't do the lore thing. I just started doing reviews and stuff because I kind of thought um like I love the toys and stuff so much, and that kind of encapsulates the lore as well. So I could kind of, I guess, like explain the lore while reviewing a figure. So that's kind of I guess like not the start, but like the ending, sort of like middle point. Yeah, middle point would be better to say, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it.
I'm telling you one thing. I was inspired from watching all of you guys do this, and I'm like, you know what? Sounds like it's pretty fun. A lot of people do it for like certain reasons, and I've talked to many and many a reviewer and all that stuff. Raz, of course, being one of them. And like a lot of people were like, at first their motivation is, oh, I can make money off this. Cool, I'm going to do it. And then it's like, now you start to see the reality of like, okay, I got to actually put work into it, and the timing and the material and the dedication. It's like, wow. And I said to myself, I am not doing that shit. I am going to go make a channel that's fun. Everybody hangs out and, just kick back and relax. No shame in what we collect, and no shame about what we talk about when collecting,
Right.
and be happy with life itself, because we only got one life. And
Yeah.
we might as well just enjoy it as best as we possibly could. What is going on, Ghostmax? Saving us up again.
And Raz says Susan Blue is the mother who dies in Friday the 13th Part 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to look into it, man, because that kind of blew my mind that she was even in a Friday the 13th movie. So,
Oh yeah, and he started off like the angry nerd like channel.
no, actually, it wasn't. So it wasn't like angry or anything like that. Like, but I wouldn't say like rant. Like, you can rant and not be angry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. It was like I wasn't angry, but I was kind of voicing like my concerns or ranting about why GameStop, because I was working at GameStop for the second time at that time, and why GameStop has like these stupid policies and this and that, and or like at one point in time, Walmart was supposed to be buying used games, and I made a video about why that's good for the used game market, because it's competition for GameStop, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much what it was. Wasn't me like being angry about it or nothing.
Oh man, it's a shame though. Now we're like losing physical copies of games and going more towards the digital way, and it's like,
yeah, it's unfortunate. So,
all right. And Jason, what is up? How are you, buddy?
what's up, Jason? Caldeo says this is why I want my eventual YouTube channel to be a side hobby, and that's exactly right. Like it should unless you somehow are able to make money off of it to actually live comfortably, then there's really no point in it ever being more than just a hobby. So,
yeah. And okay, let me zoom back in here, and this time not hit the exit camera thing. How's hammering?
so what's your third question, man? What we got? What we digging into?
All right, so we already did the third question. What motivated you to inspire that? So the next question is your name. How did you end up going with input? That one's an interesting one to me.
So that was my buddy who suggested the Transformers thing again, and but the input thing was a play on the video game channel, obviously, and he was like, "Man, you should give your input about what's going on," and that was his, and I'm quoting him. He's like, "You should give your input on what's going on in video games and GameStop and all that," and I was like, "Oh, that's not a bad name," and he was like, "Yo, yeah, and you should spell it N-PUT, and make like some old like bad '90s like hip hop group or something." And I was like, "I love it." So I was like, "I'm here for it," like, because you guys don't know, like there was that group NXS back in the day, and it was like it was like spelled really weird. He was like, "Yeah, it could be a play on stuff like that," and I was like, "I love that." Yeah, okay, so that's what it was.
Cool, cool, definitely. And like I said to anybody in the chat, you guys got some questions you want to throw in there, put go for it. We are here for that day. So next question is this is an info because this is how I was also got to know you over the time, is what sparked your interest in airbrushing your Transformers figures?
So airbrushing has always been an interest of mine. I actually I used to airbrush on cars and stuff like that. Like do cursive, like say somebody wanted like they would have a Mustang and they would want like Mustang airbrushed on the back of it, like instead of having like an actual badge or something, they would want,
Right.
Mustang airbrushed. So I would do things like little things like that here and there, and then I would paint like way way back. I'm talking like 2008. I would airbrush on like video game consoles and do like custom consoles and stuff like that. But as far as like putting it onto Transformers, um, I don't know, man. I was just like, I was like, well, I wonder if I could do a fade on these wings because what that would look like in like the color layout of like this bot mode and this versus the jet mode and stuff like that. Um and then I was talking to a couple of people, and they were like, yeah, dude, that if you figure that out, I can get you to make me some customs and stuff if you're cool with that. And I was like, yeah. And it was just one of those avenues that I'd never really thought about, applying like airbrushing anything to, like on the figures and stuff like that, So,
Right.
but it was always one of those things too. Like when you make figures, when they apply paint in factory, they always use an airbrush and stuff. Well, not all the time, at least not now, but back then, like most of the time the paint was airbrushed on. And so that's how you got it really, precise and real thin. And it wasn't like thick and clumpy, like it came out of like a spray can or anything. Right. So, but yeah, it was like, I never thought about like applying it to a figure myself. So until, those conversations happen. So.
All right, cool. And this is going to be a partial question coming in from Caldeo, and then I'm going to get to Raz's question next because it kind of fits in for this one. So Caldeo says, you're probably reading it because my screen froze.
Oh, he says, "What's the first custom input you ever made?" For me, I was very dangerous with a Sharpie marker in my carefree youth. I still
Guilty.
have it, and this is an odd one. I think I was about 10 or 11. I have a little mini Brett the Hitman Hart figure, and he's about 3 inches, and he's 4 points of articulation. You can move the shoulders and the hips, forward and back, right? And that's all he has.
The old ones were it's the plastic, and you can maybe do this, and they got one stationary pose. Is that the same one, or
no? Like these were, I don't know what line he's from, but they were like small wrestlers. They were about 3 inches tall, and they were from WWE. The Jack Pacific did them.
Okay.
And this is shortly after Hasbro lost the license for WWE. But I had a really small Brett the Hitman Hart figure, and I always wondered what he would look like in white and pink tights. So I took some white out, and I whited out the legs, right? And I made them like white and pink. That was the first, like, that I can really honestly think of, like the first, I guess, like custom, if you want to call it that,
right.
that I did.
I'd call it custom.
Huh?
I would call it a custom. You're changing the look of it, so, and it's never been shown, so that's a custom.
The first one that I did that I actually sat down and thought about, I did a Marvel Legends Electro in like 2007 or 8. And it was based off the old the Toy Biz Havoc figure.
Okay. Yeah.
And I hand stenciled the lightning on his chest and painted him green. And there's an old Toy Biz Electro figure that he had like a stand, and you could pull the string and his base would light up. It was like flash or whatever. And so I took the mask from that Electro, and because the head was a little too big for that body, but the mask fit perfect on the Havoc head. So that's how I got the Electro mask and stuff. That was like the first one I ever sat down and thought about doing and planned it out and stuff. So
it's fun when like growing up and you're like just deciding to say, I wonder what this would look like, because they'll never make it. And it's like, instead of mom and dad going out and getting another figure, you're just like, you know what, I might as well do it now. And if I like it, it's permanent. And if I don't like it, well, shit, it's still permanent.
Right.
That's like no choice. And then Raz is going to ask, when's the next stop motion? Because it's been a while.
Well, the last one I did was that Batman one.
Okay.
I do have. I feel like I say this about all my stop motions, right? But like I do have plans to continue them. The next one I probably do will probably be the continuation of that Batman one.
Yeah.
It's just, man, it's time consuming. It's like super time consuming. And that last Batman one that I did was filmed at 30 frames a second.
Wow.
And I had to and some of them I used like I call it cheat animation, where like you double up on frames and stuff like that.
Right.
So but yeah, that one was, like I said, 30 frames a second, and that took me, I think it was what, like 6 minutes or something, right? That took me
Yeah.
like a month and a half, because I built the set and everything else too. So
Wow.
but going forward, I'll probably end up building all my sets for stop motions instead of using the green screen thing. But yeah, I can't give a definite answer. So the only definite answer I can give is like, and I know this sounds kind of like douchebaggery or whatever, but like, it happens when it happens, I guess, just because of like the time that it takes. And I hate, like I said, that sounds like such a pompous dickhead, right? Like, it
No.
happens when it happens, bro. Like,
No, because life intervenes and you've got a schedule
yeah.
you got to do, and your life comes before everybody else's. So it's like, hey, I appreciate I appreciate you watching, but I got to go on my pace. And if you're getting paid for it, that's a whole different story. If you're not getting paid for it and you're doing this because you love it, then you know what? That's when it's going to get done. The end.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't mean it to sound like, but that's like the, lack of a better phrase here, I guess,
Yeah, makes me.
But
I'll be the
yep.
douchebag for that one then.
I love your ass.
And then, oh yeah, I do remember this too, because I remember you had the one for the shit storm.
Yeah, so I made that for Bobby as like a thank you for doing the old podcast and stuff. And I was listening to his podcast he does with like Uncle Dolphin and a couple of other people. And they were talking about reaching out to Make Toys to do a custom seeker. And I am, my memory of the episode, what they said was a little foggy, but basically, long story short, they were gonna want to call him Shitstorm, and they decided not to. I think because they needed like 10,000 units to be produced, and upfront costs and stuff. It was like really going to be really expensive, and so they backed out of it. And as a thank you for doing the old show, I made them that Shitstorm, and yeah, it's very, very tongue in cheek, obviously, like the design and stuff. But yeah, but that was one of the fun ones that I made, because I was asking Oracle, like, I was like, dude, do you think it'd be funny if like I painted his crotch yellow? And Oracle would be like, why? And I was like, because his name's Shitstorm. It looked like he peed himself, and stuff like that, right? Like, and then like the most beautiful thing happened. I used to post my customs up on Reddit, right? And if you go back to the Shitstorm review that I did,
Right.
in the description, there is his entire backstory. And I posted the figure on Reddit. Somebody came up with that backstory, and it's like 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, something like that. It is long, and I was absolutely blown away by it. And I was like, dude, that is his story, So I was
Hey,
like,
with every
beautiful.
artist comes a writer, so you got the best of both worlds. You created it, they wrote it. There you go. Shitstorm's in the freaking house. That is awesome. That is an awesome freaking story. And Jason's like, "What's your opinion on buying more than one of the same figure?"
I think we all collect in our own ways, right? And if you're one of those like collectors that buy a figure to keep it boxed, and you buy another one to open and mess around with, then I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that at all. I think, and I think in the case of combiners, sometimes I think it can kind of actually work out really well because you could get like say Minosaur, right? You could
Right.
have Minosaur standing like like Minosaur, like the combiner, and then you can have all of the the Stunticons down at his feet as in their vehicle mode, like they're driving away. You could have like this kind of like posteretic type of thing as a display and stuff. And I think that that's pretty cool. It just depends, like I said, depends on how you collect and how you display and stuff like that. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that completely. I mean, like, how many freaking like I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of like you buy one thing and it's like, okay, and this is your favorite character, but then somebody does another iteration, and then it's like another iteration, another one. And you're like, holy Jesus Christ! Next thing you know, you got 500 of them. You're like, how the hell did I get that much?
Yeah, I do think though there is like a danger. It's kind of in that same vein, right? Where like
Yeah.
where you kind of like Ultra Magnus. I'll use him as an example, right? Like you oh, I have to have it because it's Ultra Magnus. You know,
Yep.
you kind of get into like I kind of feel like maybe that can be dangerous because it kind of falls into like are you buying it, not saying it's like a mental health issue or whatever, but it kind of it becomes dangerous because are you buying it because you want it or because it's a character that you like, you know what I'm saying, like
Or even the worst part is, and this is true, and I don't care what anybody says. I think it's is the truth behind it all. It's either like you said, the first two statements, and then the third one is because somebody else has it, and you got to keep up with them.
oh yeah, that plays, that's part of that too, yeah, 100%.
Because it's like this certain characters I look at, I was like, okay, I got them. And prime example, Optimus Prime that has the incorporation with oh Christ, I can't even remember anything anymore. Oh Christ, I apologize. But Orion packs, the combiner one too. When you
Yeah,
see it in boxes, like okay, somebody's like, oh wow, that's awesome, and then like, oh, you advertise it, and then you buy it, you're like, okay, cool, but then you don't take it out of the box, and then if you do take it out of the box, you're like, why do I really have this? This is useless.
right.
But then they come out with Nemesis Prime. You're like, oh, I gotta have it because I gotta have something with Optimus, and then it just becomes that whole big rabbit hole, like you said before too.
Right.
And Danny's in the house. What's up, Danny girl? Double D.
uh Princeton says do you do you ever use toy hacks for customizing? Yeah, I do. I use them as an accent
Interesting.
piece. And actually there are some times where I might only want like a sticker or two or maybe whatever, like 3 4 whatever from an entire set that I like. So what I'll do is I'll take Ironhide or whatever figure that I like of that set for that sticker set, and I'll paint the details to make it look like a Toy Hacks sticker for that area or whatever. um but yeah, I use them. They're they're honestly, I feel like they're a great uh like they're a good customizing resource. Like if you're not confident with like
Right.
paint or an airbrush or whatever, yeah, I think they're you can do some really good stuff with them.
Yeah, I've got a couple of toy. I mean, like not everything I got toy hacks, but the ones that I'm like, okay, that's good. I mean, like they had the Optimus Prime one. I definitely ordered the Megatronus one because I saw that. I was like, okay, that's badass. I gotta get it.
Right.
Biasness. I'm being biased. Sorry. But there's certain ones that I'm like, okay, you can use the toy hacks. There's certain ones that's like, you don't really need it. That's up to you, kind of deal. But I mean, in the end, though, like that's why I'm kind of shocked. I was like, wow, you can paint these things on, but you going with that one? That's cool. Still, that's still a good way to go. All right. So let me get to the next question over here because of my vision, and it is so you've been on hiatus for a bit, and you and Danny came back into the circuit and started doing your new state of like basically state of address on the Transformers world. So it's a different thing that you're focused on. So what started that idea between both of you on show doing that show?
So me and Danny, we talk a lot. Um, Oracle, Oracle calls her, she's like basically that's your sister pretty much. And we were just talking one day, and we had been talking about doing something new or whatever for a while. And, uh, we were just talking one day, and, uh, I don't remember exactly what the conversation was, but she was like, "Man, we gotta take this online. We gotta, talk about this. Like we gotta talk about this live." Um, and that became the first episode of the State of the Transformers fandom podcast. So, um, that's pretty much it. And I know Danny's got some other things in the works too, for like her own little podcast thing, without me,
Yeah, I mean, like that's a great segment you guys come up with, and I know like you have them on Mondays or Tuesdays depending on what your schedules are. And like
right.
if anybody here hasn't checked out that segment yet, definitely check it out. It's great talks. It's great insights on everything going on in the world of Transformers and in the business realm as well. So I highly recommend checking out that stream. Always look for it when they announce it. You can see the announcements on YouTube as well as Toy Collecting Universal Group or whatever sites you can get your hands on. Definitely check out the stream. It's worth it. All right, Raz has got one for you. Who's your favorite voice
Oh,
actor?
oh, dude, don't do that to me now.
That's Raz. I didn't have nothing to do with that.
That's god dang, man. That's hard to pick. Like legitimately that is. I mean, I could say Rob Paulson. I
Okay,
mean,
that's a good choice.
I could go Tara Strong. Uh
Yeah.
Tara Strong is like, dude, Tara Strong is one of my high school crushes. I saw her on the Sabrina Teenage Witch movies, the
Oh yeah.
the Melissa Joan Hart movies and stuff, and I was like, whoa. Uh
She is. Yeah, she's adorable. She is. Her and Ashley.
yeah.
Those two are like. You're not supposed to be a voice actor and look that good. Like you get the imagination of like voice actors being like hideous in the background, like troll looking kind of things. It's like no, they're freaking like. There's women that I seen at the TF Con Baltimore. They were like, "Oh, he's so cute. He's so." I'm like, damn.
um uh
Oh
Dang it.
God, the
I'm
girl
trying to.
Stanky can go.
I'm brain farting on his name right now. The guy who played Vegeta in the Ocean dub for DBZ.
That's shit.
It's not Chris.
Christopher
No,
Chris.
it's not Christopher Sabat. The
It's not.
Ocean dub for DBZ. The Ocean dub.
Oh Christ!
Hammond.
I know. Yeah.
It's something. Hammond or
Anime fans, get together and give us the answer. I know what you're talking about.
But like his interpretation of Vegeta, man, that gave me chills so many times when like he would just scream, my wrath. Like it's just like God, dude, just I mean, and I think Sabat does a pretty decent Vegeta, but it just Drummond. I think his last name is Drummond. But like Sabat just doesn't like. I mean, there are so many people out there that would say Chris Sabat is Vegeta, but Christopher Sabat has not had a consistent Vegeta voice since he took over the role.
Yeah,
It
it has
so
changed.
yeah. And that's not an attack on the guy or anything. It's just he's constantly trying to find Vegeta's voice, right? So
Well, it's kind of like with Frieza, how the original voice actor. If you go back to the old days of Toonami watching Dragon Ball Z and with the Vegeta saga or the Frieza saga, that voice actor compared to the current one, it's like two different worlds. I enjoy them both, but
yeah,
there's the original. You can't knock
yeah,
the original. That's like no.
yeah.
That's
The
how it's
the
gotta go.
the chick who played Frieza originally was in the American dubs was yeah, dude. She nailed Frieza. Just that
Oh yeah.
quirky, like short. I mean, yeah, she hit it. I mean, you can go. I can go Kevin Conroy, right? Like,
Oh,
it's so hard to pick. I mean,
I just like to correct Raziel Kane and say Mel Blanc was a sexy bitch. And he still is. Even in the afterlife, he's still a sexy bitch. But I think
Yeah,
he's brought
Pauline
up
Newstone.
Pauline Newstone. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the chick who played Janine in the Real Ghostbusters? She was fantastic. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
she would get like her range, for her love for Egon and the way she would always kind of bring that out, or like when she was real irritated, like Ghostbusters, what do you want? Just
Yep. Yeah, she nailed Annie Potts' voice. She did.
yeah. Arsenio Hall is a fantastic voice actor. I think he's underrated as a voice actor.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
Laura Summer.
Laura Summer, yeah. Uh,
Oh, Dave Coulier, who did
Dave Coulier, yeah, Dave Coulier is fantastic. Yeah, he's, that whole thing in Full House. That whole it's a running joke where he's
yep.
a struggling voice actor or whatever. Like that's a legit thing. He is a real voice actor.
And he did. Yeah, he did Venkman in Ghostbusters. I think he did. Did he did the first time for Venkman or the second time?
I think he did it if I remember right, he did it. He did it for like the first season, and then Full House kicked off, and then
Yeah,
he was over.
You could back us on that one, right? He did first season Ghostbusters, or did he do? Yeah, I think he did was first season. Because a lot of people try to to nail that and to do the Bill Murray voice, and it's just funny. Dave Coulier Venkman was it was yeah. I mean, it was all right, but he still had talent. And then what ends up happening? In fact, who did the? In fact, you know what it was? Who did the voice of Garfield, the original? Somebody nailed that one for me because I can't get this. I can't get the name in my head. But he did the voice
Lorenzo.
of Venkman. Yeah, he did the original. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, season 1 of Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, was the voice actor that did Garfield. And then, ironically, when the Garfield movie came out, Bill Murray did it.
Right. Right. Yeah, Lorenzo Music was Venkman for the first 2 seasons.
Okay. Yep. I
Yeah,
couldn't come up with his name.
yeah, Venkman, he was good as Venkman, like for real. He was fantastic.
Man, we're going back in time now. Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters, everything. It's just like, wow. All right, let me get to the next one here. So where do you see your channel going now that you're back making new content?
I goes where it goes. I mean,
That's it.
I mean, honestly, dude, look, to me, like the subscriber thing, people will, I've got 10,000 subscribers, but then they only have like 100 views, right? And it's like, well,
Right.
no one's watching. So like, or there's that, there's the reverse, 1 million views and like 5 subscribers, right? Like the number is like so arbitrary.
Right.
That it just doesn't matter to me. And I just do it at this point just to like to enjoy it and get my thoughts about things out there and kind of hang at this point too, and hang out with Danny and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if anything, it's more of a channel about I guess like maybe I guess you could say like my interest of things now.
That's good. I mean, nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Yeah. Everybody loves input. No, they don't, Danny. Nobody loves me.
Danny, you love input, brother, sister. It's always good to have that kind of relationship. It's always fun. I don't have any sisters, and Danny's like, I did the interview with her like a while back and all that. It's like I told her, so it's like I just happened to pop on your channel. I saw you talking to a couple of people, and then I saw your backstory. I was like, oh shoot, she's more interesting than I thought. She's a cool person to talk to.
Yeah, Danny's fantastic, man.
Yeah, this poor girl got to suffer through us though. That's my Spanish coming out. When Lorenzo Music was fired, Laura Summer quit the show in solidarity. Susie took over as Janine. And she was okay. Yeah, she was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're getting paid to say these things. That's all good. The check's in the mail.
Yeah, I sent her one this morning.
Yep. I sent it this afternoon. $500 Canadian. She's
Right.
like, you asshole. Throw shit at me. All right, so we're gonna get to the final two questions here. Like I said, if anybody else wants to throw some questions in, keep them clean, keep them respectable, and it can be about anything. Go for it. And because that's what it's about. Like everybody getting the no input here. So, all right. Oh, this is a tough one. Maybe, maybe not. It's like a one question, two parts. What is your favorite collectible figure? And the second one is your favorite animated series of all time.
Favorite collectible figure, like as in like my favorite figure
Anything
that I
that
have
you,
in my collection.
yeah, like something you picked up and said, you know what, I can't stop putting this down. This is my all time favorite out of everything. It could be any line, not just like Transformers and anything. And I'm going to
So,
put the spotlight on you that one.
man, dude, I don't know. I don't really honestly know how to answer that question. Uh, I wanted, I guess like more modern for that, right? I'll give like a more modern figure for that answer.
Okay.
Um, the Mafex Bane, the Nightfall Batman Bane. Um,
Nice. That's a nice one.
I wanted that figure since it came out, and I finally got him. What, about 2 months ago or something, and yeah, for my birthday, it was one of my birthday gifts to myself, and I was just like, dude, I can't put him. He's fantastic. Um, the Mafex Carnage is the same way too. Like I finally got my hands on him, and he's fantastic too. I it's the McFarlane Man Bat figure. I found
Okay.
him at a Target on clearance, and I paid like $8, $10 for him, and
Nice.
he's just big and chonky and mean and monstrous, and I love it. Um, yeah, like I said, there's so many that are like that over the years and stuff that I still have and I still love, that that's hard for me to answer that particular question.
Okay. That's fair enough.
The favorite anime or animated show, what was it? What was the
It could
question?
be a favorite animated series. It could be anything from American to Japan to Nova Scotia. Anything that caught your eye that you were like, all right, this is my favorite of all time.
So I guess that would be like multiple answers too, but
If you had to pick one.
dude, that's the okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll concede and pick one. I will pick the one that got me interested in animation as a medium. Not
Okay.
as like, oh, I like cartoons, it's animated, blah blah blah, but as like I want to figure out how this works. Like I want to go beyond like I want to know how it works. I want to know how it gets created. I want to understand what frames are, and frame by frame, and all this stuff, right? Like I want to understand how animation works, not just know what it is.
Right.
And that was the first Ghost in the Shell movie. Like, and
Wow.
it was a
Yeah.
specific
Wow.
and it was a specific scene where Major Motoko, she jumps off the rooftop or whatever, and she lands in the water, right? And then like the
Right.
water kind of splashes up, and then she starts tripping the guys or whatever, fighting them and stuff. Like that was so cinematically filmed that it was like watching like a Hollywood movie, the way it was filmed, like directed, and the camera angles and all that stuff, that it was just like, holy crap, you can do this in a cartoon. Like, and
Yeah.
and to that, and more to that point, um the real Ghostbusters kind of gave me a similar feeling, but it didn't push me into wanting to learn how it worked. I had like, oh my god, this is so cool. That the real Ghostbusters was animated what, in Japan, and it had like Japanese and Korean animators working on the animation and stuff, right? So like Um, so you get like very cool concepts, but still kind of very Americanized animation, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a blend, but it's very
Right.
smooth and it's very like directed like Hollywood type of movie stuff, right? Um, but yeah, that gave me a similar feeling. Akira gave me a very similar feeling, but it wasn't until Ghost in the Shell where I was like, I have to figure out how this works. Like I was so mesmerized by that, those the first like 20 minutes. Like the whole movie mesmerized me, but like
Yeah, that is one of the like all-time classic animes out there that was brought to America. And like
yeah,
you said, Akira as well. And it's weird because like Akira for me is kind of like what was I was talking about this earlier before the movie with Harrison Ford, a sci-fi movie. I
Blade Runner.
tried. Thank you, Blade Runner. It's just I've tried watching it for 35 to 40 years later. I finally actually got from beginning to end to that movie because all the other times it's just like it's a great movie. So many different versions of it, and I'll give credit where credit is due. It's just something just didn't attract me to it. But Akira did the same thing for me in a sense. But Ghost in the Shell was like pioneering in things that were like, wow, graphics are
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
And then,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Princeton says, I wonder if we will ever get a Robeson input.
Someday, you never know. And
I'd sign off
then,
on
and
that.
Jason's like, are you looking forward to or have a favorite of any of the new age of the Primes and Studio Series figures?
Wait, bring it back up. I mean,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me do that
says,
again.
sorry, I was reading it as you were saying it, and it didn't like the question didn't click. Are you looking forward to or have a favorite of any of the New Age Primes and Studio Series figures? Um, I think all of the primes themselves, what they've shown so far, look really cool. The who is that? Prima Prime.
Yeah,
Yeah. The only problem I have with Prima Prime is like the skirt. But I do like it that it is articulated and stuff.
yeah,
Um, I would love to see somebody do an upgrade kit for that skirt where it's got like multiple joints and so it can kind of look like it's flowing, right?
yeah, I agree.
But I don't have a problem with that figure at all. It's just like I said, just like an idea to have it flow or whatever. I think that would be really cool.
I think it would,
Um,
I think you would definitely like Solus, but it's flimsy too. It's one of those figures that you love it, but at the same time you're like you got your complaints. If you know
right.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I think the prime figures look pretty good. I think that Red Alert figure, even though he's still missing the minicon, I
Yep.
think that Red Alert figure looks really good, really on point. Um, uh, I'm just trying to think. Like, I would say I'm really curious on what they do with all this stuff going forward at this point because uh, they those Hot Wheel transformers, the ones that
Hmm.
Hasbro are doing that actually transform. I think those look freaking awesome. Um, but uh, yeah, so I'm because I was saying that at the end of all this, or like 2 weeks before they announced all this, it was like Hasbro should just, like their design team should just kind of give everything to Takara or really let Takara take the reins in leading a lot of these designs and stuff because the Hasbro design team just kind of seems like they just don't have a grasp on it, and their proportions are usually out of whack and stuff, and like that vortex looks fantastic, right?
Yes.
Um and they started showing off a lot of the later Age of the Prime stuff, and I was like, okay, Hasbro design team, this is where y'all need to stay, right? Like we're starting to see what you guys can actually do, and that's where you're gonna have to stay. Like you can't go backwards, right? So
No, you can't. But they do somehow find a way of going backwards and basically
yeah.
impacting all the collector fans and just doing it. All right. So, Ghost Max, we're gonna get this over with. What is your favorite pizza topping?
Supreme.
Different. Interesting.
That's
I
my
like
favorite kind of pizza. That's what I order every time I order a pizza. I order a Supreme with no mushrooms. That's it.
okay. Respect.
Yep.
Respect for that one. And
Yep.
Caldio's like, he's saying, I am going to be making custom mini cons. I mean, it's getting to that point where if you got a 3D printer, you might as well, because
Yeah.
it can be done. And it's a
Yeah.
shame that people are, and that's what cracks me up is Hasbro can freaking make a killing off the mini cons, and I think that's what they're doing. They're setting it up to where it's going to be like, okay, we're going to release everything, and then in one wave, boom, $50 for all these mini cons.
$50? I mean, like $200 for like a.
Well, no, we're talking like a set of 10.
Oh, like they
Yeah.
did with like they did at that Target pack or whatever.
Right, exactly. I think
Micro
that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to nail it like that for everybody, and it's going to piss the world off. And the sad part is they're still going to freaking do it. Everybody's going to still buy it because they got to compete. Okay, Happy, what's going on, brother? And he's asking you your favorite Conehead Seeker.
Ramjet.
Sweet. Is pizza sauce? Pizza sauce is good on pineapple dip. That's a new one.
I'll try that. Oh yeah.
And Princeton says, "Come on now."
Anchovies and mushrooms. In the words of Michelangelo, if you put anchovies on this pizza, you're in big trouble, dude.
Oh my God, that is classic statement, Michelangelo. I got a few figures. I don't need to go straight to my customization bucket. They go.
Oh, sick. Okay.
All righty. So I guess the final question of the night, with a giggle here from Princeton, and I ask everybody this question at the end of the night. So the question would be, what would you tell anyone that wants to start their own review channel, and as advice on what to do and what not to do?
As a review channel, I would say truthfully, be yourself and don't listen to anybody else's reviews before you give yours or before you make yours and film yours and share it to the world. And yeah, I know. And if you like it, like it. If you hate it, hate it. It doesn't matter. You know, what anybody else says about the figure, that should not cloud your review of the figure, right? Like, and then don't, like, whatever you do, don't become a shill. You know, don't you know don't get to a point to where your opinion becomes meaningless, I guess, if that makes sense, right? Because you can like a figure, you can hate a figure, and you don't have to agree with every reviewer out there. But if you start, you know, I guess, like, getting sponsors from like Hasbro or Mattel or whatever, right? It kind of dilutes your opinion. That I think that's a good way to phrase it, right? Like, it dilutes your opinion. It dilutes your review, not your opinion.
Right.
It dilutes your review on things because now people can kind of be like, well, Mattel paid for that review and stuff like that, right? It's a very fine line that you have to walk. So that would be my honest advice. So,
there's one question that I just thought of, and this is for everybody in the chat because I know there's a lot of people in here that are reviewers and they do channels and all stuff. And I'll ask this: do you feel that doing what we do, with our channels, even though different topics, do you feel it's therapeutic in escaping everything that's going on in life in general? I'm not talking just politics. I'm talking about stress in general. Do you feel, and you guys can answer too in the chat, do you feel that this is the perfect way to escape, or do you feel this is more of a catalyst towards getting more hassled in, everything that goes on? What do you think about that?
I think it can be a step into both directions, truthfully. I feel like it can, it can start off, first of all, if you're on the internet, you have to have tough skin to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, that's the utmost advice I'll give to anybody. If you're going to start any kind of channel, you either got to have tough skin or roll with the punches, or not look at comments in like an angry fashion because you can't read context. You can only hear it. Um, so I think in that, in that vein, there's that. But I also think that it can be an outlet. It can be a creative outlet. It can be a very much a stress reliever if you feel like, it doesn't matter if you're a reviewer, right? Like
Right.
if you're seeing a therapist and your therapist says you need to talk to somebody and you go live every single day and you talk to 1,000 people, you talk to 5 people, whatever, how many people are watching you live, that can become a stress relief, right? Um, so I think it's like twofold. It depends on, what you're doing with your channel and what you want to do with your channel. And if, uh yeah, like I said, it can definitely go both ways. But if you want to have a positive experience, it's really up to you to learn how to roll with the punches, like I said, and learn to laugh instead of get angry at all of it. What anybody might say or whatnot. So
That's a cool answer, man. And everybody that I'm going to put a couple of the things that people said on here. Like Anthony, for example, said the process is therapeutic and allows for the expulsion of creativity, especially when you have the job that lacks any freedom. It is some of the people who suck. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Everyone on social media and biting each other's necks. That is also true.
yep,
Well, I think it's a good way to hear everyone's opinions on figures before buying them. Basically, learning pros and cons from the community, which is good. Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
and here's a question for everybody out there, and this is out of left field. The question is, what do you prefer, or what would you prefer, the sex swing or the stripper pole?
Um,
Careful now, careful.
I mean, am I watching or am I participating?
Once again, careful how you answer this. There are eyes out there that can see what's coming to your future, and you don't want to upset the party at hand.
I
Hold it
mean, I've
in.
I've thrown dollar bills before, so I know how that works. So I'm gonna go with the devil I know versus the devil I don't. Okay.
Fair answer. Fair answer. Fair answer. I've never been on the swing except for when I was a kid in the park, and that's all I'm leaving with that. I'll go poll and same answer for you. Caldeo Smart, he's like, yes. Hidima's like, yeah?
Hey, Heido, what's up, man?
I know, I'm sorry.
Princess says I'm old, so I got skin like leather, so I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it.
I still got my DX bandana and my DX shirt.
Oh,
All the originals, too.
yeah.
I grew up with those guys and the NWO. Stripper pole because I can pretend to be a Ghostbuster. Yeah, why didn't I? Yeah, no, I did think of that, but I forgot all about that. That's a good answer. Shoot. What else can we do? Oh, we went through the main questions and all that stuff. Anybody in the chat want to ask their questions? Ask questions. Shoot away
Could
one
you
more time.
imagine? Could
Mm-hmm.
you imagine? You're at like a strip club, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Bustin' makes me feel good," and here comes this chick coming out in high heels, and she's got Egon's curly Q from the real Ghostbusters. It's
Oh my God!
you guys want to bust some ghost? Let's go.
It's like, oh, we're gonna bust something, all right? Yeah, we'll get the ghosts too. Oh God! How can we make Ghostbusters so damn perverted? Because it's about a pole.
Oh
Well,
man.
here we go. What's this one? I think
Uh,
conversation would just land me in trouble. I'm a recovering troll, bro. You should have been on the one night that Danny was on. In fact, I don't know if you were on that night too. That all of a sudden we just had like I was streaming a live Ultra Megatron segment, and then all of a sudden it just went up to like 60 something viewers, and I'm like, oh, I got a troll. And I'm sitting there, and they start talking about the penis jokes and the this and that. And I just looked at the guys like, look, dude, if you're gonna troll, go for it. I don't care because, quite frankly, what you're saying now ain't shit to me. I've
I
been where you're going to. You ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna shock the hell out of me. And they just got like, dude, you're no fun, man. We had all these views. We're leaving. I'm like, okay, bye.
I've said this before, in the State of the Transformers Fandom podcast with Danny Dolphin live on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Jack. Uh, that I've lived through the Xbox Live era of being cussed out by 12-year-olds, right? Like
Yep.
there's not there's not much that you could say to me that like, and even back then I used to laugh at it, because it was just
Yep.
like just the stuff that would come out of this high pitched, like, you're sitting there playing like Dead or Alive 4, I killed your mom, or whatever. Just like,
It's like she's not even alive, man. What are you talking about?
oh,
Yep.
dude.
The era of the angelic music with freaking toxic comments. God, I
Right.
miss Halo. I miss Halo 2 so much. That was my fucking favorite game of all time.
I mean, we used to play Counter Strike. What is it? Was it CS Go, CS Source, or whatever it was way back when? And
Yep.
we used to all scream at each other like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and like we would all jump into a room together, and then like some rando people would join in the room or whatever, and we would all just sit there like and just run around, and people would be like, "What? Shut up!"
Shit, now I think about it. I think I might have been in one of those freaking games. So I remember, I do remember a freaking. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. If you happen to be in the one where all of a sudden the guy started talking like Stallone,
Oh,
just
dude,
out
I
of
don't
random.
remember. I don't. That was
Oh,
like
just
20 years
go.
ago.
I
So,
remember
yeah.
there was a game chat. I forgot what game it was, but I think it was Counter Strike. I'm not too sure. But all I know is everybody was talking like I don't know. And I started talking like Stallone, like felt bad for the one person. Like, what the fuck is going on? Everybody's talking like bad movie actors. I'm like,
It was
like
funny
yo,
because we got the idea. If you guys remember, early Wild West internet, right? There was that Duke Nukem soundboard where that guy was playing the soundboard, and this chick was like, it was like some like group call or whatever,
oh yeah,
over like Xbox Live or whatever. And she was getting so upset. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up the Duke Nukem soundboard phone call. It's hilarious. But we got the idea from that, and we were just like, "Oh man, what could we do?" And it was just like that was it. We all just just freaking 30 minutes. Like 8 of us at the same time playing Counter Strike. Just most obnoxious thing.
oh my god! Like kids today, they play all these games like freaking what is it, Fortnite and League of Legends. They will never ever get the same feeling that we got growing up and playing these games on Xbox Live or PlayStation. And it was a whole different vibe, whole different era. Toxicity today couldn't hold a candle to the toxicity back in the day. The only
I wouldn't
difference is a
like.
lot of things are offensive today.
Well, the toxicity back then was very tongue in cheek too.
Yeah,
Like you had your people. Don't get me wrong, that like meant nothing but ill will. But like there was so much that was just like red versus blue.
yep.
You know. Um.
You couldn't get away with that today's era, especially with Donut. It's
Yeah.
no
Oh
way.
yeah. Sergeant Donut Simmons. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Oh.
great. It was a great era. It was just like nobody cared, everybody offended, and they came back the next day for more. Today,
Right.
it's like
Right.
now today, if you go online, it's like you barely get one person to say hi, how you doing.
Right.
It's sad. It's like the communication's done with, it's over with, and man, that's sad to say that I miss toxicity in that level. Like today's
Toxicity.
toxicity sucks. Toxicity back in the day, freaking awesome. It's like you can not. It's like you're playing online, whether it be freaking. Oh wait, Rooster Teeth. Yep, it was. Rooster Teeth was awesome.
I mean, we had a sense of. I think we had a better sense of humor because, like I said, we had like you can't read context, right? Like you
Yep.
can't uh or not context uh content or whatever, right? You can't make it like you can't tell if someone's angry or happy or sad or whatever in a comment, right? You can't tell.
Yeah,
So, but like back then, I think we had a better grasp on being able to read that stuff.
I think.
Um,
Yeah, I think the most serious one that came up on a live chat on Xbox for me, and it became like a dark room, and I'm like, dude, this better not be a freaking joke. Somebody was talking about like, you know what? This is probably my final game. I'm just going to end my life and all that stuff. And it just like dropped. And I was like, dude, here's the deal. I'm no therapist. You need to get help. I'm going to play. You want to die in Halo, and then beat me the next game. And
Right.
then after that, they were like, what are you saying? You don't think I could kick your ass? I'm like, dude, you're going to die. So you might as well go the whole 9 yards with me. And it was like, everybody's like, dude, you fucking crazy? What are you saying that shit for? I'm like, look, I'm not a therapist. I'm playing Halo. I'm freaking going to go. If he's going to go, if he's going to die, he should die killing me in this game. Go out with a bang. Go out the right way.
Damn, that's dark. That's too dark for this. That's too dark for this show. Let's
Well,
end this. Let's
moral
end
of the
this shit
story
on a
was,
happy note.
what moral of the story was is the guy was like, damn. He tried to be like one of those trolls being toxic, and it's like, dude, on a serious note, man, enjoy life. Be happy.
Yeah.
And that's what we all should be doing right now, being happy. So, booster teeth, yep. Toxicity, yep. And then people don't have communication skills anymore unless it's an echo chamber. Yep. And then what was the other one? Me and buddies always joke in high school. They would call me cracker, and I would say, give me some. Oh, God. I know that.
There you go.
Oh, my God. See, this is the fun part of it, man. It's like, have fun making fun of each other, but do it in a way that, it's like, shit, you know what? This is what it's like in real life.
Right.
And what is it? Skeletor lips. Remember. Oh, God. All right. Let's do one funny question. Funny thing you've seen. For me, Snapcube live fun dubs are golden. Funny things. Oh, God.
So a buddy sent me a picture of Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and Andre the Giant all in an elevator. And Andre had farted, and everyone is choking on it. And Andre the Giant is laughing his ass off about it in this picture. And it was an AI generated picture, but it was priceless. And I couldn't stop laughing for 15 minutes. Like I was like I'm thinking about it right now. It's just so funny. But
oh my God. That's always Andre the Giant though. He freaking was a prankster and a half, and nobody could stop him.
Sorry, boss. Yeah.
No, you won't. He was never sorry. Only time he was ever sorry is if he actually really was sorry. After that, it's like, nope. Funniest thing that I've ever seen. I mean, I've heard funny stories. Everybody knows that Ozzy Osbourne's winding down his career for good. So the funniest thing I've ever heard was he was on tour with Motley Crue, and Motley Crue was telling the story. In fact, it was on an Ozzy Osbourne "Don't Blame Me" VHS tape. So Motley Crue was rambunctious, and Ozzy was Ozzy, and they always try to outdo each other on things. So there was one night that they literally, like, Motley Crue trashed the entire hotel room, and the news was there reporting and all that stuff. And they were like, yeah, we fucking did it. We beat Ozzy. There's no way he can top this shit. So they're all laughing about it. They're all like drunk as shit. They get into the elevator. Here comes Ozzy. Drunk as shit. Gets in the elevator. Dressed in drag. Freaking, they get to the downstairs. Goes outside to the lobby. Looks around. News cameras around. Motley Crue's like, what the fuck? Ozzy whips up this dress. Freaking butt naked. He's like, let's get fucking crazy. And Motley Crue's like, fuck. Oh, oh. You don't fuck with the master. You don't fuck with the master. Alrighty. So I want to thank everybody for joining in on the chat and bringing up all these questions and stuff. Definitely had a great time doing this. I'd like to thank my guest Input for coming out and taking time to hang out with me and answer questions on my end as well. I hope you had a great time. And again, you can always catch us once a month on the Meet Your Reviewer segments. But again, special thanks for Input taking the time to come out, hang out, and like shoot the wind with everything that's going on. Brought up some stuff. Oh my God. Brought back some memories on some things I did too. So with that being said, Input, you want to do your outro? I'll let it go to solo for you.
I guess I can say that this was me. It was me. It was in dash PUT. And I hope you had some fun hanging out with Ultra Megatronus and me. And I will see you guys next video, live stream, whatever the case may be. And don't forget to check out the State of the Transformers Fandom podcast every Monday night over on my channel and Danny Dolphin's channel at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you don't know what time that is in your time zone, that's okay. Just click the notify me button and you'll be A-okay.
Awesome. Thank you for telling us that. And thank you again for coming on the stream. And I keep forgetting I got a notification button. That's why I only get my one viewer. But that's okay. It's all good. We got a lot of people in today. And even still, man, input, you're the man. And thank you again for coming on. It was a blast having you on. Everybody in chat, thank you again for coming on. And my outro is the same as always been. You're never too old to feel too young. And when it comes to collecting anything in life, collect life experiences itself. Take care. Have a great night. Be safe. Enjoy the week if you're on break from Easter break or something like that. If not, enjoy the rest of the week. Stay awesome. And I always mess this up. I don't know why. But take care. And I did it again. Take care. Part 3. I'll get it right someday. Probably not, though.